So guys, Errol Spence, I made a video about Errol Spence and saying that Errol Spence, I don't know whether he's fully recovered. Errol Spence has said that he would want to fight Canelo Alvarez at 160. He feels that he can go to 160 and beat Canelo Alvarez. He goes, I'll have to move down to fight at 160. He goes, I don't walk around at 160 anyway. I walk around at a much higher weight, and I would look, and to be honest, making 160 would be good for me. Now, Kell Brook also thought that as well, and he fought Gennady Golovkin and ended up getting his eyes smashed in. A lot of guys think that just because they walk around at 180 pounds that they can fight at 160, and because they're losing weight. But the thing is, the difference is that Canelo Alvarez can't make welterweight. Canelo Alvarez can't come down and make welterweight. He's too big. He'd have to cut off his leg. Errol Spence can make welterweight. He's making it, which means that he's not too big. If you can make a weight, that means you're not too big for the weight class above, right? Because if I can make middleweight, then I'm a too small super middleweight. Big light middleweights can't make welterweight, or a middleweight can't make welterweight. That's why they're fighting at middleweight. A welterweight can make with welterweight. That's why he's fighting at welterweight, right? That's why if Errol Spence was to fight Canelo, Canelo is the bigger man. Canelo can't make welterweight, whereas Errol Spence can. And Canelo, for me, I would probably say skill for skill is better than Spence. I think he's more skillful than Spence. And then when you combine the power, right, and he's got a better chin than Spence, right? It's not the fact that, you know, Errol Spence hasn't shown any weakness or any vulnerability in terms of his chin, but Canelo, we know, has got a very good chin. It's been proven and tested, right? Errol Spence's chin has not been tested against a big puncher like Canelo Alvarez. You know, who's he fought that punches like Canelo? No one. So that, for me, would be a silly fight for Errol Spence, because especially now that coming back from the accident, you know, I don't think he should ever think about going up and fighting Canelo now. Even if he looks superb, like I said, Canelo could ruin it. For me, that's a fight where it's not just that I think Errol Spence will lose. It's a fight that could end your career. It's that kind of fight. It's a fight where he could just ruin your career, because Canelo's so big, and Errol Spence is a welterweight, you know, and he's not, like, if he was to fight light middleweight Spence, he would be a small light middleweight. He wouldn't be a big light middleweight. So fighting at middleweight, you're even smaller. And Canelo now is fighting at weights like 168, 175, and not just fighting at weights like that, he's fighting top guys and beating them. His next fight is probably going to be against a super middleweight. Either Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders isn't the biggest super middleweight, but Callum Smith is a huge super middleweight. So Callum Smith can't make middleweight. Billy Joe Saunders, we know, is fluctuating among the weights. But, you know, Canelo now is an established 160, 168 pounder where he can move up and down. And he's strong at the weight, you know. Whereas I don't think Spence would be. I don't think Spence would be as strong at middleweight at all. He's got quite a skinny physique, if I'm honest. You know, if you look at Canelo, he's quite a thick guy. You know, his skin, everything, the way he's formed, he's quite a thick dude. You know, whereas Spence is more, if you look when he's at weight, if you look at, he's more ripped and lean. Whereas him fighting at 160, he'd have to put on weight. I think that would slow him down. I don't think he'd be as good, if I'm honest. And I think he'd tire as well. I don't think he should fight Canelo at all. I think Canelo could finish him for good, because, like I said, he's had that accident. I don't even think you should be thinking about Canelo, let alone about fighting him. But what do you guys think about Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez? Leave your thoughts, and guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, a fight that was talked about maybe a couple years ago, 1.5, 2 years ago, was Vasily Lomachenko v Mikey Garcia. And that fight now has gone down the wayside. Mikey Garcia decided to move up to welterweight and fight Errol Spence. And Errol Spence basically destroyed him. Although he didn't knock him out, it was close to being destroyed. It was a comfortable win for Spence, and it was, you know, it was a humiliating defeat for Mikey Garcia. But if I'm honest with you, I think Lomachenko would have done the same, not in brutal fashion like that. I think Mikey would have obviously taken more chances against a smaller Lomachenko, but I think Lomachenko would have schooled him. And I think Mikey Garcia knew that, and I think Mikey Garcia went up to welterweight knowing that there'll be bigger paydays up there at welterweight, rather than fighting someone like Lomachenko and getting schooled by a smaller man. Because whether Lomachenko's smaller than Mikey, I think they're around the same size, or maybe Mikey's a little bit bigger. But I just think that Mikey Garcia knew that Lomachenko's boxing IQ was on another level, and I think Lomachenko would have beat him quite comfortably, if I'm honest with you. And I think the Errol Spence fight showed that although Errol Spence was so much bigger and he just outboxed him, I think Lomachenko probably would have done the same. Like I said, you know, Garcia would have definitely looked to take more chances, but I think Lomachenko would have beaten Mikey Garcia. So Mikey Garcia, in my opinion, went up to welterweight to fight, you know, guys that he knows that he'd make more money against. Although they're risky fights, he's going to make more money. Whereas against Lomachenko, he weren't, because Lomachenko's not a massive pay-per-view star. So, you know, he wasn't going to make huge money against Lomachenko. So we just thought, let me go and make some big money against the welterweights. And I think that's why he's moved up to welterweight. Now he's targeting the Pacquiao fight, when really a lot of people don't really want to see him fight at welterweight, and they think that he was going to get beaten by all the top welterweights. But yet Mikey Garcia's still gone up there, and even after being humiliated, in my opinion, for someone of Mikey Garcia's level to be humiliated like he was against Spence, where it was one-sided, he got whooped, comfortable win for Spence, you would have thought that he would have said, you know what, let me go back down to 140 at least. And let's not forget, I don't even think he's that big for, you know, those 140s are big dudes. Ramirez and Taylor are bigger than Mikey Garcia, in my opinion. I think Taylor's massive. So, and even they're not easy fights for Garcia. Let me get that out there. You know, Taylor's not an easy fight for Garcia. You know, so I personally think that Mikey Garcia should have probably gone down the Lomachenko route. It was a more winnable fight, but like I said, I understand why he did it. I don't think he was that confident he'd beat Lomachenko. And losing to Errol Spence, people will say, oh, you lost to a guy that was way bigger than you. Losing to Lomachenko, people, you know, you've got nowhere to go, because people will say you lost to a smaller guy, you lost to a guy, and then people will say he's the man of the division. But the thing was, Lomachenko was seen as pound for pound number one. Mikey Garcia was never seen as pound for pound number one. So I think Mikey Garcia still would have, if he had beaten Lomachenko, he could have taken his pound for pound status. And let's be honest, most people think that Lomachenko is a more credible fighter than Mikey Garcia. What I mean that look at is what he achieved as an amateur, and even as a pro, he's the quickest 3-weight world champion in history. He was more established than Mikey Garcia. People rate Lomachenko a lot higher than they rate Mikey Garcia. So Mikey Garcia had an opportunity there, and it was a more winnable fight than Spence. So for me, he made the wrong decision. But again, it backfired. But you know, Mikey Garcia now is going to stay at welterweight. You know, crazy thing is, Mikey Garcia at one point was considering a fight with Miguel Cotto at 154. But the reason why he didn't take the fight, because he felt the money wasn't right. Looking at that now, that seems like a crazy thing to think about, that this guy was going to move up to 154 when at 147 he looked outsized and just looked so small. But what do you guys think? Do you think Mikey Garcia can beat Vasily Lomachenko still, or do you think Vasily Lomachenko would beat him comfortably? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So Anthony Joshua will be taking on Kubrat Pulev June 20th. Obviously Deontay Wilder has triggered that rematch clause with Tyson Fury. So they're going to have their third fight, so there's no chance of the undisputed fight happening. So Anthony Joshua is going to fight his mandatory Kubrat Pulev, who we always thought he was going to fight. Anthony Joshua will knock out Kubrat Pulev. There's no doubt in my mind that Anthony Joshua will knock him out. I think Kubrat Pulev's old. I think Kubrat Pulev's stiff, and I think Kubrat Pulev is made for Anthony Joshua. So AJ will knock him out. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not that excited about that fight, if I'm totally honest with you. Obviously, I think for Anthony Joshua, it's a good fight in the sense that, after the Ruiz fight, there was a lot of pressure on him, and I think it's a good fight for him to go in and knock Kubrat Pulev over, because I don't think Pulev presents any threat whatsoever. I don't think Pulev's a big puncher. I don't think Pulev is that great, if I'm honest. Like I said, I think he's quite slow, stiff. Obviously, there is a bit of vulnerability around AJ now, and that'll be there throughout his career, but I think AJ is just too good for Kubrat Pulev, and Pulev is old. And if you look at his recent performances, he hasn't really looked outstanding, and he's not really fought anyone of any note. He's not like he's got a big win now. Hughie Fury, but really Hughie Fury hasn't shown a lot of late. Who else? He beat Derek Chisora, but that was a Derek Chisora that wasn't the Derek Chisora we know of now. So really, Kubrat Pulev of recent years hasn't done a lot, and really I think he's all made for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, is better than him in every way. He's more powerful than him, he's quicker than him, he's got better feet movement than him. I think he's got even better defense. The only thing that Kubrat Pulev may have better than him is probably a better chin, but apart from that, and what we saw again with Klitschko, that Kubrat Pulev can be flawed, and Joshua is very strong, very fast, and I think he's going to take Kubrat Pulev out in style. So I think Joshua will get a knockout here. I can't see Kubrat Pulev going 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua. I don't see this going to points. Anthony Joshua will stop Kubrat Pulev. I'm not that excited about the fight, like I said. It's not a fight that really excites me because I don't think AJ can lose. I think, yeah, if he gets caught with a big punch, but that's in every AJ fight. But really, if we're looking at it, I think Joshua's better than him in every department. And the fact that Kubrat Pulev is 38, I don't think that's going to help him. I just think Joshua's just gonna do a good and proper job on him, if I'm honest with you. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this fight. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you don't really care? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.